They don't care.
Yeah.
You care. You're having the mental game in your head. Keep turning up, be consistent, see where those people are going. You know, you'll see a post that someone says, hey, I'm attending this event.
If I'm totally new to networking, like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to say. What should I do? Before we dive into the professional hub, tell me a little bit more, who is David and why people know you?
Oh, who is David is a scary question. So, but basically grew up in Sydney and moved here in 2001. I actually came up here in 2000. I was working for an equipment hire company back in the day. And basically it was one of those things. I ended up studying HR off the back of a workplace dispute that was there. I was really interested. There was a whole bunch of union activity and I went, I want to kind of get into HR, and I don't know why, but it was just one of those things. And
how did you feel it?
Yeah, it was just one of those things. I just, whatever was happening was unjust, and I just really wanted to actually get in there and be part of that. I was told not to go outside, but yeah, when someone tells me not to do something, I make sure that I do it. And we were blue shirts and they were green shirts, so I was like, don't go out into that world. But I went out anyway, and I was exposed to something, and that kind of gave me that boost to go study HR.
Okay.
And and ended up girlfriend at the time. She was a pharmacist. I had just graduated, and that's what we had an opportunity to come up to the Gold Coast, to the hospital there for her to work, and that brought me up.
The difference between Sydney and Gold Coast, how did it feel for the next few years for you?
It's Gold Coast and Sydney are just two completely different kettles of fish. Like it's very hard to describe how different it is. Like obviously people are people, and it's just a very interesting, it's just a big city.
Yeah.
It's just a big city, and I think that you get lost quite easily. Having said that, Gold Coast, you can get quite lost as well if you're not from from around here. Yeah, like I was in the wilderness here I had work friends and colleagues up here when I worked, but yeah, you know, my kind of journey as far as being on LinkedIn, like I was pretty much invisible on LinkedIn until 2019. So, and I was on LinkedIn very early when it was invite only.
In 2009, you built New Point Recruitment.
Yes.
How was it for you?
Yeah, so GFC had hit. I was working for a company. I was just a contractor anyway at the time. So, so it was, if you don't make any sales, you get no money that month. So that's how it was working anyway. And we had some government contracts, and basically those contracts were ceasing at the time anyway, and I was doing commercial recruitment as well.
Okay.
So I was offered to buy the business, but it was the company, it was the owner's surname, so there was no point. So it was a new point in my career, so New Point Recruitment was built, and there's a new point of difference in the market and lots of different things. So I just wanted to be different to what other recruiters were.
What was the difference about that you're trying to achieve?
It was about doing the right thing. That's a funny thing to say because that's what you should do in business anyway. But I'd worked in an agency that was just, like we'll charge whatever we think the client is worth. There was no real tactic around it except let's just try and make as much money as possible without looking after the client. And I went. And I saw this quite often with quite a few, where there's a lot of sales recruiters, and my background was HR. So it was about team fit and doing the right job and getting the right people in. So I felt that was a really big difference in the market. The great thing at that time was a lot of those players, because GFC had hit, a lot of companies were shrinking at that time as well. So we were really one of the only options. It was us and another recruiter as the main option. And a lot of people didn't like that other recruiter anyway. So I reaped the benefits. Yeah.
So you've been on the Gold Coast, like obviously over 15 years, and you've built the business. What do you see people are doing wrong about transitioning into a new career, or what are the mistakes they usually do?
The biggest mistake is thinking about yourself, being selfish. Like it really is. That's probably my biggest bugbear with recruitment. And I'm not mad about it or jaded or anything like that. Like, in private we'll say I'm jaded, but I'm not really. It's not looking at the business and saying, okay, here's a business and this is what the role is, and they're paying this remuneration package for this role to do your job. Not the extra, just to do your job. Take it or leave it. I think that you've got to have a look at it and go, if you're going to have a whinge about it, go somewhere else. If it's not the right fit, go somewhere else. But people want to whinge and complain about things rather than actually just accept it for what it is and try and make something good of it. Yeah, if you need more money, you need to upskill.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
The reality.
That's the reality. I've worked in recruitment. I've worked in a long time in it, and one of the main reasons people want more money is because they're taking on too much personally. And you work with finance, like money, so you understand what I'm talking about. They live beyond their means, or
absolutely, yeah. Sometimes people spend a lot more than they should have spent.
Correct.
After working for such a long period of time in the recruitment, you faced the crisis, which was the COVID.
Yes.
And you didn't stop there. You apparently started building the community.
Correct.
What was the goal for it? Why did you not shut down, take time to rest up during the COVID time, and then come back?
Yeah, sure. So 2020, obviously, March was probably the thick of it when things were really shutting down. I've been studying Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk and a number of people over nights. I spent nights studying everything they're doing. Basically, I learned a lot about sales and marketing at that time and how to get attention. COVID hits and pretty much all of my work shuts down because it's recruitment. So it's the first thing to stop that because we can't, find people. Funny thing, the training that I'd had from Cardone especially had jumped into my head, and I got a piece of paper and started writing my power base. Who do I know? And start contacting people. And I wrote that down, and I'd built this little group, Gold Coast Professionals and Executives Hub it was called at the time, to try and get on the back of some executive recruits I'd done. So I wrote that down as well and just put that over to the side of that group. And I thought, well, I could try and build that group out. What would that look like and how would that work? Because these people had built communities like Cardone, Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, they've all built communities. So I thought, I've got to build a community out. I just started sending out 300 to 400 invitations per day. You got to remember, I didn't have much work on. So it was 300 to 400 invites per day from my LinkedIn connections to actually join the group. Fast forward to June, we'd hit around the 460 number of people. And I just put a shout out to the group. I'm holding a coffee catch up. So that was the term. There were 5 cafes over at Isle of Capri, on Via Roma. Yes. And I just said, there's 5 cafes. Meet me outside. So we're out in the open down by Edgewater Dining there, down at the bottom. And 9 of us turned up, thankfully. So 9 including myself, that is. A couple of Brazilian students that were on the group and a couple of lawyers and a couple of people that actually just had really good community around them that I hadn't known. They were definitely legal community people like Nick and so Midja, they were my originals. And the post I posted that on LinkedIn. It was one of those things that I'd learned from Cardone. Get attention. I didn't know which way the attention was going to go, whether it was starting a cluster, being on the news, being in the bulletin, being arrested. I don't know.
Was it overwhelming for you to think about all of these scenarios?
No, I just had to go.
Yes.
You just got to jump in and go and just do it anyway. And I'll reference Cardone a lot because when something impactful happens and someone impactful changes things, you've got to change yourself. But when you've got that driver there, I'll always reference him because, it was just awesome, the training I'd had. So, so it was just go all in. Whatever happens, happens. Attention's attention. So as long as you're not breaking the law in other ways, it's just good attention. And I posted to LinkedIn. We could only do 10 photos at the time, but I took 10 photos of 9 people in front of Q1 and down having a blast. And the post blew up. It blew up. I had people contacting me now to actually say, hey, you had a get together and you didn't invite me. And I'm like, I did. So that was really cool. And that started, and I ran another one 2 weeks later because I had to get some momentum. And I kept running coffee catch-ups. You know what they're like now.
Yes.
At that time, running them every fortnight. Just every fortnight. And
just to build up the attention.
Just to build up, get the attention. I've got the attention of some people. I need to back that up now. Because if you take too long, it's like when people go networking and they go once, they turn up once and they go, oh, wow, I met some nice people, I didn't get business. And I'm like, I know. Nobody knows who you are.
Exists.
Yeah. Nobody knows who you are.
What does networking means to you personally?
Yeah, to me, it's about community. So, I actually hate the term business networking. Even when I'm pitching and advertising our paid membership group that we've got now, I try and avoid the word networking in there because networking to me is go to this person, hand a card, here, throw this away, throw my card away. It just doesn't feel natural, whereas what we've built in the Professionals Hub community is community. It's different. We've got friendships. We've got you know what it's like. We're friends.
Business
Like,
partnerships.
yeah, we've got partnerships that happen naturally, and I've already found that because I bring that same culture to the paid membership as well. People that haven't met each other are actually linking up at our smaller Coffee Connect sessions and doing business now. Like, they're not even waiting for a second or third hit. They're actually just going, oh wow, I like that person. That's cool, because I'm curating a nice community behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I'm very selective in that.
Yeah. So you're trying to fill in the gap where you don't just collect the people in one community. You're trying to build the relationship instead of just exchanging the business cards.
Correct. Yeah, because it's easy to give someone a business card. Like, it's really easy. You know, I've seen those networkers out there that they've just got a handful of cards, and they go here, here, here. Don't worry about what you do or who you are. Just, here's my card. That's all I want. I want you to collect my card. And people just look at it and go, oh wow, yeah, cool, and put it in their pocket to throw away at home or at the place there, because it just did nothing. It's unless you actually need that person right now, it does nothing. Whereas being consistent and the coffee catch-ups, like, you know, they were running every 2 weeks, and there was consistency, and we're building networks. So it was fast moving, build the community fast, get the attention, build FOMO. I love FOMO. Build the FOMO so that people come and experience it. And yes, people come one time, experience it, and it wasn't for them. Like, it was too loud, too many people, got stuck with a business card person, just didn't get that vibe, but they didn't have trust in the system. And I hadn't built up the trust yet. So, you know, I hadn't built that. Now I'm pretty sure I do have that. You know, come to our event and you'll see it's a great community.
Yeah. From 0 to 5,000, how was it for you, the journey, and what helped the community to grow the most efficiently?
So I think the thing that helped the community grow the most was me being unapologetic about who's in the group. So I've had some people do some crappy things in the background, and they're out of the group. I kick them out. It's just, I don't care. I don't care what people think. Like, I do, deep down, I really care what people think. I want people to like me. That's just how it goes. When I see a hater, and if I do a post and I get some hate on that post, I'm like, oh, damn, man, like, you don't even know me. But anyway, I pick up on the vibe of people, and I just want to create a good community, because it's not about, like, it is about me, definitely about me, because it's my community, but it's also your community, and I want you to have a good experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm always watching. You know, you may see me running around taking photos and selfies and all that kind of stuff, but I'm always watching. It's almost like I'm there, and I've also got my enforcer there watching to see what's happening.
Yeah,
to
because
make sure
you're responsible for this group of people, right?
Correct. Well, I feel a responsibility towards them. Yes. You know, people are people, and people make adult decisions and dumb decisions. So, you know, it's my favorite term, adult decisions. It's, you made the call, you did it, and you've got to accept it. So I take that same approach, that if someone's going to go down the wrong line, or they're going to make things uncomfortable for people, you know, there's a few real hardcore business card pushers. They're not in the group. Like, I just ignore. Like, it's not. I want you to have a good experience.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned that you recently launched a paid membership.
Yeah.
What was before you decided, okay, it's time to actually expand the benefits that you're delivering to the community? Yeah.
So it's taken 6 years. So I remember when I started the group, I had a friend. He's a business, like a business consultant, and very experienced, and he said, so how are you going to monetize it? And I said, don't worry, mate, I'll monetize it. It's all good. I need to build it out first. And my way of monetizing over the years was through referrals from the group. So it wasn't a paid membership. It was about actually building relationships naturally and building my own network instead of turning up somewhere else to network and trying to work a crowd. I brought the crowd to me, and I was actually able to actually work with that crowd to actually get candidates, get referrals, get new business. And when you actually have a look at the makeup of that group, most of those were corporate services or business owners. So the people that fit into that world that are in, if you look at the group numbers and you did a breakdown of the group, you'll actually see that all of those people are in my recruitment circle.
Okay. So
it's in the areas that I recruit. So it was very strategic in how I set that up to make sure that I was seen amongst that community. On the flip side, monetizing it was kind of took me forever. Actually, on the wall over there, you'll see I've got the Millionaire Math from Cardone, and that is about how many memberships and how many like how many sales you need to get 1 million per year.
Yes.
And it's not about the goal of 1 million, it's about doing math. And I'm a maths and science guy.
Well, you have to have the North Star at the end of the day to be to be able to track what's going on a daily basis and to have.
Correct. Yeah. So for me, it's like I read a lot of books, read a lot of things, looked into memberships, how memberships work, and there was it was one of those things like, you know, we know that there's quite a few business networking groups and that have been around for decades, and that's not my model. I'm really bad with rules like that, like, you know, having to turn up every week and you get wrapped over the knuckles if you don't do this. And I just went, okay, so that's not my model. I need to have a model that actually says community first, but also business in there as well, because the whole point, someone's paying me money to be part of a community. Therefore, I want to make them money as well. It's up to them, obviously, to have the right kind of product and service and approach and be nice.
Yeah.
You know, so that people want to use you. But what I'm providing is a platform for people to be seen, be heard, build a trusted community. So much business has already happened. We're only like 7 weeks in, and a lot of business has actually already happened in the group itself, whether it be from a referral. And again, they're not forced referrals or anything like that. It's just someone's going, I like you and I like what you do.
Yeah, just the nature of law.
Yeah, hey, can you help out this client of mine? So there's been a lot of referrals, and there's actually been business between people as well.
Yeah.
And there's also some collaboration, like a couple of law firms, like one's in PI, they just do PI, and the other one is more of a generalist, and they're actually working together and cross-referring. So what I've built is a community so that you've got a forum so you can ask for business advice, you can give advice. So, you know, it's great for consultants to be in there to actually, you know, number one, you know, you give advice, someone goes, I like that advice, can I engage you? Like, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Like it's, and then other people will use others for different things. Like I use Dan for video as well. So there's all that kind of thing that people are going to start using each other as well anyway. But there's also events. Obviously, we have coffee catch-ups and coffee connect sessions. So I'm providing as much opportunity as possible for people to either connect in person or connect online or be found in a business directory.
Yeah, we're afraid launching the paid membership because people for 6 years had this for free, and now you're like saying, okay, now pay me.
Yes.
And people are like, okay, but why I didn't have to pay it for yesterday?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
How was it for you personally?
Yeah. So that does one of those things that you think you're doing so well, and you go, oh wow, you know, I'm going to have 1,000 people sign up tomorrow. That didn't happen, of course. And it's an interesting thing because I love marketing and I love, you know, pitching and doing all of that as well. But I had the wrong messaging, which was really cool. It sucked, but it was really cool at the same time.
It's always a learning curve.
Yeah, because you think you've figured things out and then you've got to refigure it out. And then you go, okay, I figured it out. I've grabbed a good bunch of people. And then all of a sudden it pauses again. You go, now I've got to figure out again another angle to actually grab this group of people. And then you realize that there's a whole, like some people just want to join for the business directory. They just want to be featured in the business directory. They don't want to go to networking. They just want to be featured in that because we're going to SEO the hell out of that. It's going to be pretty epic. It's going to be a real leader on our website. So some people just want to be in that. Some people just love the networking. Some people want to get on the forum and they love the keyboard stuff and just, you know, giving advice. And one guy joined just to give advice. That's all he wanted from it. One person actually joined up because he'd had so much business from the larger group that he just said, I trust you, Dave, and I just want to be part of it.
Okay.
So I've had a lot of people that have just wanted to be part of it because they trusted what I've built already. I've got social proof of what we've done. So they've just trusted that process, that things will work out. And, you know, for the foundation membership, for the price, like $1 a day locked in for lifetime is pretty damn cheap.
It's amazing, and you're getting so much value, like what you described so far.
Yeah.
You're getting not just a catch up with a person, but the ability to build relationship across both life and digital worlds.
Yeah, so it's a good crossover because, as I said, I'm trying to cover, you can't cover all bases, of course. You can't deliver something for everyone. You can deliver value, and I think delivering value is the key.
Yeah. I know that you have both memberships and sponsorship opportunities. How does sponsorship opportunities work? And if I'm, let's say, a sponsor, I have a legal firm or financial advisory, how do I understand that I'm the right sponsor for professionals have, and what do I need to do to make it happen?
Yeah, sure. So sponsors, so we've only got 2 sponsorships left. I've got one that's being locked out today, which is fantastic. So our sponsors, it's really key to actually driving what we do as well. So sponsorship, you're the only person in your space. So as a sponsor, like obviously we have multiple spaces for general members. It doesn't matter about industry, but they're the only person in that industry, so they get full coverage. We do a lot of marketing on their behalf. They'll actually run a coffee catch-up as well, and then have a lot of exposure. So there's a lot of exposure, obviously on website, on marketing materials that go out. So with sponsorship, one of the biggest things that I like is activation of sponsors. You know, I've been a sponsor before, and you get your name on the wall. You're the only one looking for your name on the wall. No one cares that it's on the wall. It's just there. You've paid big money and you get nothing for it. I'm doing a massive marketing exercise for our sponsors as a thank you, because they've come on early. That's the first thing. They've trusted in something that wasn't fully built yet as well. So it's built on those trusted relationships that I'm going to deliver something, and I'm one of those guys that I want to deliver.
Both members and sponsors getting really good value from being seen by other businesses.
Correct. Yeah. Plus, as you saw from Mark on Friday, you know, you actually get to host a coffee and actually talk to the crowd and talk about your expertise. Obviously, with the intention that someone sees your expertise and says, "Hey, I want to find out more," and buy from you.
What would be your top 3 advice for someone who just came on the Gold Coast, relocate from different state or different country, and want to build their network from zero? What should they do?
Yeah, so join a group, join Chamber of Commerce, go along to those events. Like Chamber of Commerce, and especially if you're a young person, Junior Chamber are doing some amazing things. They've really, they're hitting it out of the ballpark. I think that, you know, they're definitely one to watch. There are so many events on the Gold Coast. Like I try and look at my calendar to go, okay, when do I run this? I'm looking at running some breakfasts and lunches and all that as well. And I'm like, there is so much on. The hardest thing though is turning up by yourself. So I always struggled with that because I'm an introvert naturally. So for me out there, people will say I'm an omnivert now, and I will agree. I'm not an extrovert, but I'm definitely not an introvert.
You learned how to deal with it.
I learned how to deal with it. I learned to suck it up and get out there
Yes.
and talk. So the biggest thing that I can say, again from Cardone, coming back to that, do it anyway. Go to an event, just show up. Just show up, because you don't know what's going to happen next. Like it's lots of good things happen.
Yeah, do you go yourself to other events to see what other people are doing?
Yeah, always. Yeah. You know me, I'll go to an opening of an envelope. But I do, like I've started going to some of the Southern Chamber ones, whereas in the past I had not. So I want to go down and see what they're doing, because they're doing, you know, we had a great lunch down at Currumbin RSL recently.
If I'm totally new to networking, like I don't know how to do this, I don't know what to say, what should I do?
Yes. Number one, don't do the elevator pitch. Don't go learn elevator pitches. That's for those kind of groups that meet up weekly and, you know, have all those rules. That's it's crap. It's old school. I think look at yourself in the mirror and just say, I'm a nice person, right? So you've got to kind of reconfigure who you are and what you want, because if you want money and you want to expand your career, or you want to expand your business, you've got to get out there. What you try and do is try and, like, LinkedIn's probably the easiest one. I don't want to kind of tout LinkedIn, but you know, that as a tool for me, it's worked. I think that they've got to get on LinkedIn or a Facebook group and start out with a community and join that community and just be part of it. You can sit in the shadows and turn up to a few things, but at some point you've got to take that next step and actually be active and be activated. Like I was talking about with sponsors, you've got to be activated and have good product or good communication skills to actually get out there.
Yeah, if my goal not to make a business but to find your next job, what should I do to place the next job?
So interesting thing about that is that a lot of the clients that I talk to, especially like law firms, accounting firms, for example, if they've got an accountant or a lawyer, we'll just say, for instance, like obviously there's so many other professions and roles out there, but if they see someone out there touting their business and building referrals and community, and building a network as such, they're going to say, hey, that person's business developing as well, and they're business developing for my business, because a lot of people in those roles are processors. They're in doing the job and they're not bringing in new business, and no one knows about. Anyone that's out there and they're actually out there networking, that's a good prospect already. A lot of people don't see that, they don't think about it, but when I'm talking to a business owner or a principal of a firm, they're always saying to me, hey, it'd be great if they could business develop a bit as well. Like it's not essential.
So does it mean that for businesses, it means that people who will be joining their companies need to understand who they're talking to, like on the side, and bring this connection to the business as well?
Yeah, so bringing connection brings money to the firm.
Yeah.
So quite simple. It brings money. So whether it's direct business from that contact or whether it's referrals, if they're out there business developing, they're actually, number one, it's going to help that person anyway because they'll meet their KPIs.
Yeah.
So they're going to meet their KPIs because they're out there getting additional business. Whereas other people fill the KPIs from the business owner bringing business in and they're processing the work of that person. If that person had the time, they'll just do it themselves.
Yeah, because you have to be the influencer for the business at the same time. And
we know a few of those people that company would not. The company would definitely still exist if that person doesn't work there. They've always had business, and like I know some people that have been at companies that it's been running 20 years. But now all of a sudden everyone knows about the company, everyone else knows about the company, and they bring sponsorship, and we know who we're talking about. Like, they bring sponsorship opportunities to that company for their events and all that. They may not do business with them, but some people have generated so much exposure, and I still think of people that have left companies that I still actually have in my phone that they're from that old company because they were the rep of that company.
Yes.
It wasn't their job. They weren't the BDM. They were just the rep of that company.
Yeah.
So those people are gold. And they get picked up quickly when they're about to move on.
For sure, yeah. You don't have any chance to be on and sit on the market and wait until something will come. So the difference between Gold Coast community, Sydney, and for example Melbourne, what do professionals have to do on the Gold Coast to stand out comparing to bigger cities?
Gold Coast has a real communal feel, and I know this in the sense that, as I said, prior to 19, I was invisible. I'd go to an event and I was on the outer. I know it's hard to believe, I was seriously on the outer. Like, I could not penetrate any group. It was just killing me. Like, I really found it hard. So, and then people try and go out and start their own groups and all that. And I think that do well in a good group that's thriving. Do well in that group. Be part of the crew. Like, it's really...
Yeah, you just need to push yourself, basically.
Yeah, and you need to be consistent. If you turn up once and you're not part of the crew, there's a reason for that, because you turned up once. Keep turning up, be consistent. See where those people are going. You'll see a post that someone says, hey, I'm attending this event. Go to that event and go, hey, I saw you at the last event. Like, I've got nothing to talk about, but I saw you at the last event. And hopefully they've got some great communication skills to be able to kind of work with that. Get a selfie with them or do something. I hate selfies. Would you believe I hate selfies? I absolutely hate them.
Well, is it that's why you're making the photos usually of other people, not yourself?
So contrary to popular belief, I hate the selfie, but I embrace the selfie. So I embrace it because that brings me money.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah. So and I'm not scared to say it brings me money. It does, because people see me, people hear of me, people know of me, and people use me.
From your own perspective, to make a great first impression during the networking event, what would you do?
Be cool.
What does it mean?
And I'm not talking funzy cool. I just mean, and that's showing my age a lot, but I just mean self-awareness is the biggest killer of you in a community. If you lack self-awareness, if you're standing there touting things and being a legend and just trying to big note yourself and all of that stuff, people don't like it. So people don't like it, and if you turn up continually and you talk yourself up and don't listen, don't listen. Like, I'll be honest, I'm a 50-50 listener. Like, if you're talking and rambling too long, I'm out. I can't help myself. Maybe I'm misdiagnosed or not even diagnosed. I don't get diagnosed, but it's I have a short attention span, and it just is. It is what it is. So if someone's rambling and they're going on and big noting themselves and talking themselves up, and you've never met them before, and they're doing that, it's really unlikely I'm going to hang with you the next time. So I think having self-awareness, and I'm speaking on behalf of me, but a lot of people feel the same, because someone comes up to me and goes, "Who was that guy?" And you go, "Oh, I don't know. He probably won't be back." Or he will be back and he'll be annoying. So he hasn't done anything wrong. He's just
annoying.
We don't have much, we don't have a lot of time in life. Spending time with those that are really annoying like that and big noting themselves and not listening to your story or listening to what you've got, that's just a big no-no. So self-awareness is key. Ask your friends. because they're going to tell you the truth. Yeah, mate, you talk it up a bit. I go, all right, cool. Remember that. Walk into the room. And a lot of people talk it up and they go out there and go a bit crazy because they are introverted or they are nervous. So you've got
So
to...
sometimes they overreact.
They overdo it because they're nervous. Like, I get it. I get it. Sometimes I get hyped up too. Like, it's a matter of coming back. I'm really self-aware that I'm polarizing. That's probably the easiest way to say it. I'm self-aware that I am polarizing, and I try and read the room, and I do get it wrong sometimes, but other times, but I am self-aware. Like, I know I know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it all comes to the experience, right?
It does.
You come to the first one, maybe it doesn't work. Maybe you will not talk to any person, or you will say hi and then you will listen for half an hour.
Yes.
But then the more events you're coming to, the more people you see, the more you understand what's the best way to approach them, right?
Yeah. Like, I've had a few people that have been really shy, and they've been there, and like one person had a skin condition, and I can imagine, he's always looking down, and I was like, good on you, mate, for showing up. Like, it's just, it is what it is, but you're a nice guy.
Yeah.
And we'll talk. And it became part of the community. It just kept showing up. And then you could see the smiles coming out. And to me, that's awesome. Like, that is awesome. People worry about a zit on their face or something and freak out, and they don't want to come. And, and that's the truth. We're human. We think about these things. Get over it. Turn up anyway. People don't care. People actually don't care.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
sometimes you're making lots of about yourself and thinking, oh, what other people think. But other people think about their own problems and how to survive. Maybe their morning was not as smooth as they would expect. And then you're coming to the event and they're like, oh, I'm done and that's it. And then don't pay attention.
They've gone to the event and then they've had a phone call from the school, got to go pick up my kid. So I'm not even thinking about that person that, didn't have their hair right today. Like,
yes, exactly.
Don't care. I don't care what dress they wore today or whatever. Like, it's just, they don't care.
Yeah.
You care. You're having the mental game in your head. And that's the whole point about networking as well. Just show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psychologists used to say it's just a thought. So it's your problem how you're dealing with your thought, and
correct.
You can proceed with it. If I'm a not paid member of your community, what are the top 3 benefits that I would get instantly once I sign up?
Yeah, sure. So, signing up to the membership group.
Yes.
Yeah. So, firstly, you'll have the business profile. Like, I like people to build a business profile because, again, that's where the business is done. You can meet people everywhere, but getting that business profile is key as well. Also, your member profile. There's a member directory there, obviously to look up people, and then you'll be attending events. So we hold 2 sessions per week. For people to catch up. It depends on the session. Like, I let the sessions run fairly free because I think that, like, once we do intros, of course, just to say who we are, I like to actually just see the natural flow of people actually connecting. So that's a benefit there as well, that you've got instant access to the group. And we also have group chats that occur as well. And the forum, of course, jumping on the forum to, I think, a lot of people, especially startups coming out, they need advice.
Yeah.
They need legal teams. They need a lot of things. They need
the
contracts.
The whole function around the business.
Yeah, there's a whole function around the business. Like, you've got an idea and now you've got to bring it to market. Yeah. So there's marketing as well. Like, some people can market, some people really can't.
Yes.
Some people need salespeople because they are tech oriented. So therefore they're probably a bit more introverted. So they're not naturally a salesperson. So they need those skills. So there's a lot of, there's a micro community in there as well to actually offer that advice. People are sitting there waiting to go, can I give someone some advice on something that I did? Because we all like talking about our wins.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
I love this approach.
Yeah.
We've got a few questions also from the audience, because when I share that I'm going to talk to a network builder, be recruiter, they were like, oh my God, maybe I do need some help in it. So we've got one question from the person who is just starting their life on the Gold Coast. And he asks, what are the things that you need to do in your first 90 days on the Gold Coast? Yeah,
so first thing that I would do is obviously working out where you're living. Like, if you've worked out all those spots, because there's communities around where you are. As I said, if you looked at chambers of commerce, like, there's a Northern Chamber, a Central Chamber, a Southport Chamber, a Southern Chamber. I think there's one out at Mudgera Bar as well.
So it can be locally.
Yeah, so even tapping into that local network, because it's quite likely that those people live around there when they're working with that chamber. Like, you know, I go down and visit the southern chamber and that, but a lot of people live in that southern end and they go to that chamber as their mainstay. So I think joining those chambers of commerce, like obviously joining our group is a great idea because, you know, we've got a very welcoming community.
5,000 people.
Yeah, we're close to 5,000. We're close to that 5,000 mark. Yeah.
I believe there are some people who are just not on LinkedIn, but in general there are 5,000.
Yeah. So and the world doesn't revolve around LinkedIn, but it's a good place to start. Make sure you have a profile.
Yes.
And build out the profile and just start building connections and do that, because I think that's, again, it hasn't just worked for me, it's worked for so many people. And, you know, if you're looking for a career or something and you're in, you know, you could be in a really, a career shortage, like an area where there's a big career shortage. So being on LinkedIn, people will reach out and say, hey, we want to offer you a role.
Yes,
or we want to talk to you first to see if you fit a role that we have. So getting a profile, building out a CV if you are looking for work, making sure that you have all those tools in place. Because it's really hard for someone to say, hey, flick, like, you know, turn up to an event and someone says, hey, flick me a CV, and you don't have a CV.
And it takes you time to get
And it takes you time, because then you stall and you go, well, how do I build one now? I've got to look one up.
Yes.
You know, obviously ChatGPT can build you one now. You know, so, but back in the past, it wasn't around a few years ago to do that. So,
but still, like, you have to be attentive to what you're putting in there. You have to be relevant to the position, and you're like not putting and throwing all together. Like, I've been working there and there and there. You've got to be very clear on what you're delivering.
You do. And also the test is when someone says, hey, can you send me something? Like, you know, sending them something 3 days later is not sending that to them as soon as you get back.
Yeah.
So there's a test there as well. Like, they're just saying, send me something, and then they're saying tick, tick, tick.
Yes.
Yeah. So
the quicker, the better.
Quicker, the better. Yeah, get onto it, because it means that, because they go, oh, wow, thanks for sending that through so quickly. Let's catch up tomorrow.
Yes.
So whereas you send it 3 days time, they go, oh, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Bye. Thanks. I'll give you a call. Yeah. So I think those types of things, like, you know, just honing your skills around, obviously, self-awareness. Self-awareness is a hard one. You've got to really tap in and go, am I a jerk or am I all right?
Yes, yeah.
So how do I come across? So that's a real hard one, because there's a lot of people that I know, especially, you know, my age as well, like old timers like myself, they still haven't got it. They're still not aware.
Okay.
So it's not a young person thing. It's just a general thing.
The human thing.
Yeah. So I think working on yourself, working on the tools that you need to get there, and just getting on platforms, and then getting part of community. So there's quite a few different things to do.
Next question we've got, what are the top 3 red flags that kill an application before it even gets to an interview?
So this is 2026. So a resume is submitted and your last role finished in 2023, and you don't have a cover letter attached to explain.
All right.
Or it's not on the CV. It just says, finish this role, sales rep, September 2022, September 2023, and you go, okay, cool, what's next? So that's the first thing. Yeah, not having a continuation
of a career.
Yeah. Or just not having an explainer. You may have had a child. And you just, you know, cover letter, just returning to the workforce after having my second child, third child, fourth, fifth, sixth, first. So I'm just returning to the workforce after this. This is what I do. I really, you know, I fit your criteria, bang, bang, bang. So that's the first thing. That's a really easy explainer. Or I've been on overseas, I've had a sabbatical. Just been out, been traveling the world, and you can even have that on there, world travel. Yeah. That's, you know, 2023 to, you know,
2030.
2030, still traveling. Yes. But yeah, having that on there, that's that first thing. Being interstate and not having a letter to actually explain that you're moving up in 2 weeks' time. You got a location, moving to Southport. That's, you know, can be there in 2 weeks. That's So being interstate and not having anything, because we'll look at local applicants first.
Okay.
Yeah, people that are here because we've got to move fast. Our client wants to move fast. That's just natural. Yeah. That's just natural. So you talk about application. The next part's obviously interview. That's a whole nother bunch of red flags.
Okay, that you can pick up from.
Yeah. But the application, just that first part, always write a cover letter. Just do it anyway, because it even explains how you fit the criteria. Yeah.
Cool. And the last one we've got, top 3 financial lessons from launching 2 businesses.
Stay as lean as possible. Learn things. Yeah, like I've
lean in terms of the people that you
start out lean. Like, you know, it depends. So for my businesses, like It's been fine to start out lean. Yeah, like recruitment, you're a consultant essentially, so you can start out by yourself. That's fine. I've never built big teams, and I think because I've always recruited big teams, and I've recruited for clients, like very large clients, and I look at the drama that goes on. I don't want that. I listened to there's an Audible. So I read the book, but then I also listened to it a few times from Audible, and it's called The $1 Million One-Person Business. And I think that if you can make that kind of money as a one-person business, then I don't know what else you want. Like maybe you want a big scalable business that you sell for 40, 50 million down the track. And we know how many of those actually work out. Yeah. So all of that drama, like, I've had clients that are turning over $10 million and they're taking home $120,000 themselves. And I'm like, $10 million and you're taking home 120. And
what's the purpose?
Yeah, why? Just go work for someone like for 120K. Like, it's not worth it. It's, and they weren't building it to scale. It was just what their turnover was. So they were doing nothing with it and are doing all this drama. And because I'm recruiting because of the drama.
Yes.
So, which is great because it feeds my business. But, I had another client that was turning over 5 million and taking home $44,000, 44 grand from 5 million. So for me, it's about, do you need all of that? Like, it's great to employ people because it adds to the economy and it does a lot of things. So there's that side of giving back and building out the economy and building something special. But yeah, you can turn over $1 million by yourself. So that's one of those things. So it's definitely stay lean, work things out for yourself as well. Like try and take the time, like have a look and try and learn stuff. But also hiring the right people as well. Like, because some businesses, like, especially law firm, starting at a law firm by yourself as well, a lot of those people do need a paralegal then. And then if they're doing well, they'll need another lawyer and then another paralegal and et cetera, et cetera. And then they build a machine and that's how that industry functions. So it's about how your industry functions when you're starting out. Yeah. If you've got a manufacturing business, just need labor and staff and skilled workers as well, and admin and marketing and
so
you've got to build. You've got to build you've got to build a business. Yes. So that's different to my consulting style business. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David.
Yeah,
I really appreciate sharing the journey of building the networking group on the Gold Coast.
Yes.
Being this from 0 to 5,000 or almost 5,000, I think it's quite a journey, and you had lots to learn on the way to be able to reach such a success. So appreciate you being with us today and sharing your journey.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Tatiana. And it's still a learning curve. It's
always.
You're always learning and adapting.